Here in Washington, US President Joe Biden has announced an additional $800 million worth of security assistance to Ukraine, bringing the total military assistance committed to Ukraine to $1 billion in just the past week. As part of the security assistance, Ukraine will receive an S-300 long-range missile defense system, which is a fully automated ground-based missile launcher, and it can detect, track and fire at multiple incoming aerial threats at long distances. Ukraine will also receive 100 kamikaze drones, camera-equipped switchable blade drones, which are essentially remote-controlled flying bombs. They will extend the range of attack on Russian vehicles to beyond the sight of the user. The US is also giving 800 more anti-aircraft Stingers. They're shoulder-mounted infrared anti-aircraft missiles used against slower, low-flying aircraft. Also being sent are 2,000 more St. Javelins, lightweight, shoulder-launched, self-guided missiles. They're being used with great effect at the moment to destroy armoured vehicles at close quarters. The new arms provision also includes 7,000 other anti-armour weapons, 1,000 machine guns, rifles and grenade launchers, 20 million rounds of small arms ammunition, and 25,000 sets of body armour and helmets. Our correspondent Susan Tehrani is live for us in New York with more on this. Susan, what could be expected of this phone call between Xi Jinping and Joe Biden, the president here in America? Because both Washington and Beijing have been trading blame over the role that Russia's actions are having in Ukraine. What do you expect?
So we just learned about this phone call this morning, and according to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, this is part of ongoing efforts to maintain open lines of communications between the two leaders. She said in a statement they will discuss managing competition between the two countries, as well as Ukraine and other, quote, issues of mutual concern. However, this conversation also comes shortly actually in the same week after that 7-hour-long conversation between Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor, and top Chinese officials, in which we learned that the United States was very concerned that perhaps China would play a role in helping Russia sort of avert some of those sanctions imposed against it by the United States and Western countries. So that will definitely be a topic of discussion. And also, while the United States has not said openly and publicly, there are talks that perhaps Beijing, like other capitals, might play a role in some sort of mediation efforts in bringing some kind of ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, at least on the Russia side as well. And also, you know, the fact that Beijing has supported Russia's efforts, at least in some part, against Ukraine has been a cause for concern for the United States, obviously, and the West. It has said that it supports Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, but really that conversation before Russia's invasion, the no limits friendship between the two sides, has really been a thorn and a cause for contention between the two sides. So yes, lots to talk about, and you can see that there is concern on the U.S. side. That's why I think the groundworks were laid during that conversation in Rome between Jake Sullivan and his Chinese counterparts for this discussion to take place on a higher level between President Biden and Xi.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's also talk about these US weapons that are going to go to Ukraine, including drones. Could they become another bone of contention, as the Kremlin has made it clear that any foreign weapons coming into Ukraine are legitimate targets?
Absolutely. And, you know, these are called switchblade drones, as we have learned right now, and they will no doubt be a target of the Russian side as well. As you mentioned, their kamikaze drones, they will be demolished as the minute that they reach their target. They do have the ability to really go and have a great precision, and this will be a cause for concern on the Russian side. You know, it's interesting. There was an opinion piece by Daniel Hanninger in the Wall Street Journal today, and he said that, you know, we keep averting the issue of World War III, and he says Ukraine is World War II and a half. World War III is decades-long Cold War concern. What we're seeing in Ukraine is now something new, a spontaneous, crowd-funded worldwide effort to fight a war without springing the Armageddon tripwire. And I think that really puts things into perspective, and that's the concern and the sentiment really here in the United States. And I think on the Russian side as well is how far is too far. Is it with drones? Is it with those MiGs? Is it with putting boots on the ground? Is it the no-fly zone? But at the end of the day, is this really, with all the support that Ukraine is getting, you know, World War II and a half, and how far will Russia go in knowing that the Western side doesn't want to start World War III. So yes, it is very delicate. These drones will be a bone of contention, but at this point, what will not?